Light your blunts, get your drinks. Show's about to begin. Welcome to the Goose Show. We got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show, they abducting the human race. Aliens appearing and moving in outer space. Ancient text mentions them sharing wisdom with all, but humans don't be listening. Rather start them a war. Fucking off the planet, pollution causing the damage. I'm chillin' in Pomona where homies talking in Spanish. Let the world know about Pomona teaching the math. Shout out to Kev, Mac, Omar, Bradley, and my kids. My wife and two, because they know I'm a survivor. 5 shots couldn't take me down cause I'm a rider. Then was on the ventilator, still I had to rise up. Tell me y'all the truth, man, I'm here to remind you. It's only up for me from now to the future. Thanks for your support and I'ma give you what you used to. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding what they demanding. So look out for the aliens, they landing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed. Talk about
what's up? Welcome to the Goob Show. Shout out to my name King Real for the intro. Ain't been in a while. You know, Super Bowl, Valentine's Day, all that. I always had this that I wanted to talk about throughout all that. This shooting down of unidentified flying objects. They ain't gonna say it. But however, they ain't saying what they shot down. We're going to get into that. That's what this show is all about. And it's great to be back. Shit. Have some fun. Got, you know, my pictures. If y'all ain't never noticed, I got side. We got Ali. You know what I'm saying? Black History Month. I wanted to get and shout out to, you know, nigga Kobe. You know the other, Nipsey. I always wanted to be like, you know, how the Godfather was. So, of course, I have a multitude of collection of the Godfather. But for Black History Month, I do have something that I want to throw in with blacks that talk about UFOs. Not only are we going to talk about what they shooting down, but we also going to get into the, you know, a few African Americans, black, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Because most will say, it's crazy that think about that. That's why I say whatever you want to call them, crazy. But they do speak on it. What's up, Philip H? Appreciate you stopping through. Get him, Jank. I got my buddy and stopped through. You know what I'm saying? To bless the program tonight. Got him in the background. I'm going to bring him up. But yeah, it's crazy how much shit is going on. And that's what I want to get into as well. All around the world, you know what I'm saying? This is what I like to talk about on my platform. I'm trying to avoid, you know, getting into the other things that occur on this YouTube shit, this YouTube streets. You know, I represent Pomona on these YouTube streets, Southside, in the house. But I have a couple motherfuckers I just need to just, you know, say a little something. You know, this nigga that's in Compton, homie, you continue to keep sliding it out, easing it out when your comments or whatever, and you keep trying to, you know, keep this little shit going. with your level 4 stories in California. And I get that, you know, and I appreciate that you get at the message about what they do, but you also add into this A-yard shit, level 4. For those that don't know, I've been to a couple. Been to 3 A-yards, level 3 and 2 level 4. Both of them was A-yards. And I get that. He keeps saying that. It's been caught on with his other people to keep saying what A-yard was. But all A-yards were like that? Okay, I suppose. Here's the thing I want to drop a lug. Hopefully somebody will send that to you when they do see it. You had one of your people that you look up to on Kev Max show that say, shout out to Kev Max show. You know what I'm saying? Help me get where I'm going. But this is just a shot because it was said on his show. Nobody caught it. Nobody said nothing about it. And it wasn't in the comments so much as when you keep saying the shit and it's in your fucking comments, you know, or people bring that shit to me. I don't give a fuck about that. Half these niggas couldn't even survive on a level 4. Period, fucking point blank. Nigga, I did 2 of them. With no time, nigga. None. A year violation in Pelican Bay, A-yard. And 5 years on New Folsom, A-yard. Yeah, nigga, I wasn't trying to sit there and fuck off my life, nigga. I want to go home. Whatever you may say about that. One thing I know, I ain't never had a nigga put their hands in my motherfucking pillowcase when I went to the store. Yeah, never that. Never been moved out of cell to another yard. Never. Yeah, straight shot. So I like to joke when you say, here's what I need you to do, though. You need to ask the person that was on Kev Max show that said all he did was 4 A-yards in the California State Prison. If you guys can explain that to me, what a 4 A-yard is, because there's not many level 4s in the state of California. I've been to 2 of them, 2 different ones. There's not very many of them, but the question I need you to ask the person that said, I didn't do nothing but 4 A-yards, what he meant by that. Because if you've been in California State Penitentiary, you only have 4A, 4B, or 4C. Correct? I'll leave it at that. That's not what I want to get into. I just want to set that point too, because I keep hearing the loves. So I just want to drop that little knowledge on you. Hope somebody will send it over to my nigga. You know who I'm talking about. Nigga from Compton. Shout out. Your platform. My other nigga that keeps saying my name and is my homie. You'll never get nothing out. Your meons is saying more about me than you. You should, you know, kill them. I know none of them. I ain't never said nothing about them, but I'm a weird nigga. Yet this is what I do. If I'm so weird, just leave me the fuck alone. That's all I ask. I don't bother y'all niggas. Y'all niggas shouldn't bother me. I'm just an old nigga that ain't gonna do nothing. You're right. You're absolutely correct. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. I'm not gonna do shit. Straight the fuck out, nigga. I'm not fucking my life off for near one of you niggas. So you can keep my name in my do all that. I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah. I just want to fuck with the people that want to fuck with some knowledge around this bitch. Fuck all this going back and bickering and nigga, somebody just gonna get knocked down. That's gonna be some fucked up shit over what? Nigga, this internet? Fuck out of here. I mean, I'm trying to wake a motherfucker up. That's all I'm trying to do on this internet. I just had to send a little shout out. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we can holler, homie, because we talked on the phone. Say what you want to another. I'm not gonna even get into that text that I seen about a nigga said he checked. I'm not even gonna get into that, my nigga. because we talked about it, so there's no need. And nothing like that was in the text that came at me, but we'll leave it alone. Hey, so for Black History Month, I want to get off that. I had a little setup of Black special, you know what I'm saying? In the business, wealthy Blacks, people we looked up to that also speak on UFOs. You know what I'm saying? The Prince, what's good with you, man? I appreciate you stopping through. Philip H, yeah, already Googled, do your thing. All right, I'm just here to, give a little information, bro. And I'm not downside on what part it is on the good or bad boxing conversations. What's up, my brother? Salute. This is just a little information that maybe the government ain't telling us. Without further ado, because I've been sitting in the back, listen to me rant. My nigga Omar, what's good with you, my brother? My bad.
My brother. Oh, what's happening?
What's good? Oh, what's good with you, man? I didn't need to hold you up back there.
No, you're not holding me up. I'm trying to figure out why there's a delay. It's a major delay.
It's a delay?
Yeah, am I not moving?
Okay.
Am I moving on time to you?
Yeah, you sound good to me.
I wonder what the heck is going on my end.
What's good?
What's happening? What is this? I don't know if it's something like, why is it hazy behind me? It's
yeah, it
I don't
is
know
hazy
what that
behind
is.
Go in and come back. Hey, go in and come back out. I mean, go in and come back out. Go out and come back in.
Yeah. Let me
all right, I'm gonna play this.
Yeah, let me put my play clothes on and see what's going on. I'll come back outside in a minute. I don't want grandma to beat my ass.
No, Omar. Oh, okay. Yeah, shout out, get them jank boxing conversation. Like I say, I got this video. While he's setting up and see. I want y'all to check this out. Entourage of people that also speak about UFOs.
Like when the Martians landed and shit, white folks got scared. I'm like, golly, I tell you, just a big old helicopter thing came down, landed. People got all had that fur all over their body, big old claw hands and shit. Jesus Christ. Nothing can scare a nigga after 400 years of this shit. I mean, hey, the Martian ain't got a chance, man. A nigga warned a Martian. Better get your ass away from around here. You done landed on Mr. Gilmore's property. If he land in New York, a nigga take his shit from him. Give up. You got to give up the flying saucer, baby. Because I'm a macaroni. You know what I mean? He be cruising. Nigga be cruising. Oh, yeah, it's sweet. How much is petrol? 82 million a gallon? Fuck this machine.
I'm Dr. Mark Catala, and I'm a cognitive scientist who does research and teaches a university-level class on time travel. Today we're going to watch Muhammad Ali talk about UFOs on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Now, he was there promoting a rematch between Muhammad Ali and Ken Norton. Now, they had fought previously in March 1973, and at the time, Ali was the heavyweight champion and Norton was ranked number 8. Ali lost to a split decision, which was very, very controversial, and it was found out later at the hospital that Norton had managed to break Ali's jaw in the last round. Now, this was the first time they had fought, and so Ken Norton became the heavyweight champion. Since the rematch was going to be fought in Inglewood, somebody had the idea of bringing them onto the Tonight Show for a preliminary weigh-in, which is officially done the day before the fight. Now, Ken Norton was interviewed first because he was the current heavyweight champion, and he discussed boxing. Muhammad Ali was brought out second, and he'd been on the Tonight Show a number of times before that, but he decided to just start talking about UFOs. Now, he had a history with UFOs, and he saw his first one in 1970 when he was out running with one of his trainers, and the report even made the newspaper. Here it is in his own words. He said, "I happened to look up just before dawn, as I often do while running, and there, hovering above us, was this brilliant light hanging as if by an invisible thread. At first, I thought it was a beacon projected from a helicopter, but moments later, a similar object passed in front of us. I brought it to the attention of my trainer, who was standing nearby. We watched them come from behind the skyline and move slowly across the sky for at least 15 minutes. The best I can describe this sighting is to say that they were just round and big." Now, this is to the right there is his autograph, and he included a picture which he said was of a UFO scout ship. Now, by the time of his death in 2016, Ali had witnessed UFOs 16 different times, and for him, they carried a religious significance. As an epilogue on the fight, though, they fought the rematch 3 days later on September 10th, 1973. Both were in excellent physical condition, and Ali had said that this was the first fight he'd really trained for, and that he'd whipped his Adonis-like physique back into shape. The match was close, but Ali won in a split decision. Now, they fought one more match in September of 1976, actually in Yankee Stadium of all places, and Ali won that one by unanimous decision and retained his title as heavyweight champion. Please like and subscribe, and if you'd like to experience the past in real time, buy my book, Budget Time Travel. Also, visit us online for more videos and immersive time travel media at budgettimetravel.com. Now let's watch the greatest talk about UFOs.
Muhammad Ali has been on the show, I suppose, 6 or 7 times, and he is usually introduced first, but we thought it was only fair to introduce Ken first tonight, since you beat him the last time out. Fair enough?
No argument.
Okay, would you welcome Muhammad Ali?
Strange feeling coming on your show in my robe.
We thought we would have, I don't know how many people have actually seen a weigh-in or why they have them, and
Yeah, are you actually going to have a weigh-in?
well, yes, but you know the official weigh-in is what is it official? How long before the fight?
I think a day before the fight. Sunday, yeah.
In other words, no matter what you weigh, you could change before the next day, right?
I've been
You
studying.
seem quite reserved tonight. What?
I've been studying UFOs. Did you know there are UFOs out here flying around, unidentified?
This would be the place for them, Southern California.
See, I just wanted to pause that. There's stuff behind you, Omar.
What was that, my brother?
Huh?
What was that, my brother? What you
Okay,
saying?
there's what you call them noise. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
You can't hear me. Oh,
Yep.
okay. No, I just paused this because you see how everybody laughed.
Everybody laughed. What, at me?
No. At what he said when he started talking about
Oh,
UFOs.
yeah. Absolutely. I've watched this Ken Norton clip several times. I've always known that Brother Muhammad was a believer. You know, it's almost like a prerequisite to be a member of the Nation of Islam that you got to be a believer. So that does not surprise me at all. at all. So for him to come out and speak on it the way he did and to be such an advocate. And you got to remember, at that time, also people like Jimmy Carter, even as the president of the United States, he said that when he was governor, he saw a UFO. You know what I mean? He said, now I'm not going to say that it's aliens, but I will say that I didn't know what it was when it passed over me. So that makes it an official UFO. So, we have had officials come out on record, off record, and say that they've seen something funny that they can't explain in the skies.
Hold on. Let me try some.
What's going on, Jank? What's going on, Reggie?
All right,
Philip, as usual.
That's why I played it. This is all like black people talking about that's up in rank. That's talking about UFOs for Black History.
Absolutely,
that's what I did.
Absolutely. And I mean, he talks about it with no fear. He talks about it with absolution.
Yeah, watch him.
Things about it.
Watch him stop Johnny Carson though. Like, nah.
Go for it.
Watch.
I'm serious. They cited a bunch over Georgia. I've seen them at night. They have real photos of them, and the government and the people just completely seem like don't talk about it. But Mr. Harold Salkin of Washington, D.C., is the head of the National UFO Bureau. Right. He brought me moving films. I actually have moving pictures of little saucers, of great steel objects coming into pictures that people took, and I'm just surprised that don't nobody talk more about it. Something they can...
Another great insight into the fight game. No, just kidding. No, I read that. But did you read the thing last night on the news?
No.
That some physicists said that what the people of Georgia might have seen were that there are probably several thousand satellite objects going around the United States, around the Earth, and sometimes they disintegrate and they come back into space.
Not 50 feet over the highway.
Well, it could. It's got to land somewhere.
No, they call it swamp gas, and some they don't want. I don't know what it is, but I think I do. But there are actual saucers and objects coming within our atmosphere and flying around, and people got pictures. Everybody cite the same thing in every city: the red and blue and green lights. But the people's authorities completely brush it off as if to say we are mentally off. But I know it's right because I've been saying.
Well, why don't they land then, Muhammad? I mean, if they're intelligent people, why wouldn't they land and step out and say, hi there? Or Galman Ding, whatever they say. Why wouldn't they make contact?
They probably figure they can't get no sense out of the people here in this country.
We've never talked about that on the show. I didn't.
That's facts right there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Who wants to take any of these people?
What I'm eventually get into is what they not telling us that they shot down in the skies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And whatever they want to say, they started with that balloon.
Right. And now that they're aware, they shooting down everything now. They shooting down everything. I think the guy who drives the Oscar Mayer Wiener truck and the guy who drives the Wiener Schnitzel truck all across America, they need to be careful too because they shooting down everything right now. I don't know what it was. It was a 12-foot long white dog in a bun driving down the street. So we shot it.
Right. Yeah, let's finish this. Okay.
No, you really believe in UFOs?
Actual photos. I have moving films.
Yeah, but can't they motion picture film, and you're smart enough to know that in still pictures they can phony those up.
These are not phony.
Ken, how do you feel about it? You believe they're flying saucers?
I'm an innocent bystander.
But you've seen them.
And the night, the one you can see on Tuesdays and Thursdays is like a big bright star if you go out.
Tuesdays and
It's like
Thursdays.
a big bright star.
Are you sure you're up for this fight?
I'm sure.
if you're thinking about that when your Monday night comes, he's going to knock your head off.
No, I'm serious.
You're going to say it's 10 o'clock.
Seriously, it's like a big bright star, and you see it moving, and it'll go up and disappear and get real small like a pinhead, and then it'll come back and it'll shake, and then it might appear and it'll go over here. Seriously, I'm serious. I'm not.
Well, I know you're serious in your belief. I don't happen to believe in it myself.
This is anybody who's got eyes belief.
Well, you can see a lot of things, but that doesn't always make them objects from other planets.
Much of that. What about the fighting?
Well, yeah. What about the fighting?
I was at the White House with my family, and we were getting a tour, and Barack and Michelle and Sasha and Malia.
Nice.
And it's me and Jada and the kids, and we're walking through the White House. And the night before, Jaden had said to me, "Dad, I got to ask the president about the aliens, if we," I was like, "Dude, no, it's not cool. No, it's not cool. It's embarrassing."
You have to take that opportunity. he knows.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
Because he's your son, so all you do is go, "Oh, I'm sorry."
I was like,
answer the
"Jaden,
question.
do not ask the president." So we get into the situation room, and Jaden gets the look in his eyes, and he leans over, he says, "Dad, what's my..." And I was like, Jaden, do not. So he looks, and, Barack is talking about this situation room, and Jaden says, "Excuse me, Mr. President." And I was like, "Hey, Barack, man, hey, listen, Jaden. And Barack said, "Don't tell me." And in perfect form, like, this is why he's the president, he stopped and looked at Jaden and said, "The aliens, right?" And I was like, "Oh, shoot." And he said, "Okay, I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of extraterrestrials, but I can tell you, if there had been a top secret meeting, and if there would have had to have been a discussion about it, it would have taken place in this room."
Oh,
and Jaden was like,
that's big.
He's like, "I told you, Dad, I told you it's aliens." I'm like, dude.
See, now he's going to watch Men in Black 3 and think it's a fly-on-the-wall documentary about his dad.
And is he still grounded then from that incident?
Yeah, no. He's got about 8 or 9 more months.
Okay.
Embarrassing in front of the president.
But you should look into this. You got to find out.
Come on, man.
Do you want to find out?
Listen, here's the deal.
Aliens.
I know. I have the top secret information. I just can't share it. You don't think I've made all of these movies and not been briefed by the White House?
It makes sense.
And that's some crazy something to think about, right?
Okay.
Because this nigga has
Go ahead, finish your thought. Finish, because I know you're about to say something.
He done made all those movies and ain't asked no questions about why y'all know this, or do you think this is real, or do you feel me?
Right. What's telling about his interview right now is how easily the president's name just rolled out his mouth. He don't say President Obama. I mean, he talks like they real homies from around the way. I mean, so Jaden asked Barack, like, straight
you don't think
up.
he got them connected?
Barack is like, "Don't tell me. Aliens, right?" And then Jaden, I mean, he just throws President Obama's name around like they are equals. It just tells you the different type of worlds that we are in. And things are moving so fast that I just think that we've had several different types of disclosure. And short of straight up telling us, "Hey, on February 31st, 2023, they landed on the White House lawn." I don't think we're going to get that. I think we've gotten the best we're going to get, and I think that they are going to leave it up to people to fill in the blanks, to believe what they want to believe, because we have gotten a whole lot of different mixed messages from people who have been in the know for quite some time. And it seems like we have gone beyond do aliens exist, and have landed on what will humanity do when they find out. You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody's even talking about, do they exist? Now you've broken down into two camps. Are people going to be happy and peaceful, or are people going to go crazy? It's almost a foregone conclusion that everybody kind of knows that
Yeah, because
it's only a matter of time before
more and more.
they knocking on your door saying, hey, can
I
we
think you
borrow
gotta,
some sugar?
hey,
Yeah.
go into your settings and see if because you got a background. I mean, I'm trying to see it. Echo. Hold on.
Okay. Let me turn my volume down a little bit because I don't have a mic hooked up.
Right. So it might be I got echo cancellation.
When you, huh?
When you ever see white folks peaceful?
Yeah, certainly I have at Starbucks. Starbucks, in Target, in Stater Brothers and Albertson, in Ross, in Old Navy.
Safeway.
Yeah, Safeway. Yeah, have I ever seen peaceful? Absolutely. How about Marshalls, Applebee's, Cracker Barrel? Cracker Barrel. I can hear it now. So, yeah, absolutely. I can hear it now. Yeah, absolutely. I love everybody.
Hey, love everybody. All right, let me see. Barack Obama gonna speak though too.
Of course. I know. I just can't tell you.
Will Smith's an alien. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
Oh man, my son, every conspiracy theory, anything you throw at him, he loves it, believes it, and
how old is Jaden now?
13.
Wow, really?
13, yeah. So he is.
You're not going to hold him down. He's going to ask what he wants.
I know.
Aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air. Look. The truth is that when I came into office, I asked, right? I was like, all right, is there the lab somewhere where we're keeping the alien specimens in spaceship? They did a little bit of research, and the answer was no. But what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. They did not have.
See, and this is educated black man, President of the United States. He ain't just saying no. He's just not giving you the information maybe the people want. But he's basically saying it. They don't know what the fuck it is that's in this here. It's the same thing. They don't know what they shot down. That's the whole purpose of this. To get an understanding that they don't know what the fuck they shot down. They're not telling us. It goes back to that 1947 in the Roswell. That trickery that they gave us. That there was not enough social media or phones or videos or none of that back then. So they can tell you whatever they wanted to tell you. Sure, it's funny that they made a base basically in the same area around it. Now it's just shit. They so frequent. They use that balloon fiasco to shoot that down, to shoot everything down. As much as people video, you know how much shit they gonna have to shoot down. The problem I have is you not showing it like you showed that good old picture of them getting that balloon up out the water. What's happening with the other 3 that we seen? And I'm gonna show you a video of what they saying. They don't even know, or they not telling. Because the news ain't saying it. You can't believe all that the news is saying. True enough. But shit, who I'm supposed to believe? I can't believe nobody. Somebody got to say something. But don't bullshit me and say it's another balloon when you already said, and pilots have said shit that's different. But like I say, this is the president of the United States saying, everybody he talked to, he don't know. He just can't tell us what he really knows.
An easily explainable pattern. And so, I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is. But I have nothing to report to you today. It's okay.
Can you hear me? Goo?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
An object skimming the surface, apparently at high speed, when... Bullseye! The aircraft sensors home in on the thing, the unidentified flying object. It's one of a few videos of these UFOs the Pentagon confirmed as authentic.
I think that over beers we've sort of said, hey man, if I saw this solo, I don't know that I would have come back and said anything because it sounds so crazy. Your mind tries to make sense of it. I'm going to categorize this as maybe a helicopter or maybe a drone. And when it disappeared, it was just...
Alex Dietrich has never told her story publicly. She's one of several Navy pilots who spoke with 60 Minutes, who've seen or picked up on sensors similar objects, often moving fast with odd shapes and no obvious method of propulsion.
There's definitely something that I don't know.
And the reason I played that, where it said no evidence of propulsion, is the same thing that these pilots are saying now when I bring up this video that just in a couple days. They say the same thing. They couldn't figure out, well, how the fuck is this just sitting in the sky like this? With no propulsion, no, it's not going against the wind, it's just sitting there. You know
right. Well, you know, going back to what we talked about last time, when we looked at the first spy balloon, or what we presume is a spy balloon, because truthfully, the government has not released much to the media about what they recovered and what they believe was stolen and what they believe they may have gotten away with, or what propulsion system, or how they chose their trajectory, their chosen route. So we really don't know much, but now we know they're paying attention and they're shooting a lot of things down. But now it's almost starting to seem like overkill, isn't it? It's almost starting to seem as though maybe we're sending balloons up and shooting them down just to make people feel a little more comfortable, huh? We got another one that we threw up that we found up there.
Saying, what's up?
and we shot it down, you're safe. I mean, it almost seems like overkill a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, they went from this being something obscure to now every other day there things. And let's just imagine if you had visitors from another solar system, visitors from another galaxy, just so happen to take a field trip to Earth and see what happens to Tyree Nichols. And they got to go back and give a report on whether or not we're ready to join this intergalactic family of star beings. What would the report say? It would definitely say, hell no, you know. And again, the message is always, the message that I give is always, every time we hear about a species of alien, we always hear of them as one color. The grays are grays, the reptilians are green. I would imagine that other species would marvel at us because we are different shades. You know, others would come here and say, wow,
Right, but you
so
don't
that
think
which
that,
divides us the most
hold on.
would probably be
You
our
don't think that we have other
greatest
shades?
strength once we leap amongst the stars, right?
I think you got two browsers on.
You think I have two browsers on?
Because it's a hell of an echo. I mean, it's a
Okay,
delay.
let me see what's going on. Let me do this.
So you don't think there's other colors of of alien beings that's out there? There's different fish, different colors, different everything, different colors. You know, I don't think that would be real strange to them.
No, I most certainly believe that there are different uh, beings of different colors, but the way it is presented to us in the media, the gray aliens are all gray, whatever planet they're on. The Nords are all white, whatever planet they're on. Reptilians are all green, whatever planet they're on. We've never been presented with a black reptilian, a green reptilian, an orange reptilian, a white reptilian. The grays, you know, what they look like is self-explanatory in the name. You know, the others that are supposed to be lily white and benevolent, they are all white. They don't say that there is a black one that walks amongst them. So when we are presented with what these alien races are, they are simply all one color based on what planet they hail from. However, we Earthlings
Okay.
are different colors. And so I would imagine that other beings would marvel at the fact that we are of different shades. And therefore, I will say again, that which divides us the most on this planet may be our greatest strength once we decide to successfully, or we can successfully join our brethren amongst the stars.
Look at here. Where was the Space Force? You know what I'm saying?
What
To
was
get
the who?
these little beings that they shooting down, whatever they shooting down, right? Because
Right.
there's conflicting um, different points of views of what happened in the skies from different pilots. Some pilots are saying they had instruments in them. Some saying they were different, um, like octagon. They weren't. Some saying they were spherical. The spherical ones is the ones that we've been seeing all the time, right? So if they shot them down, that's like if you send something to another country and they shoot your shit down. Like, hold on, we ain't finna
Right.
go see what the fuck happened. You gonna think we're gonna see more? We're gonna see more of these unidentified objects that they talking about. Now that you just shot some down, not knowing even what it was, you didn't give a fuck now. You knew the balloon, or you assumed the balloon was China. Was that a setup to say, we shoot this down, all this other shit that we seeing that's just been sitting here, we just shoot that shit down now, and we can use it as its balloons. However, they're not saying anything that they balloons. You know what I'm saying? They saying objects, and they can't recover the fucking debris. Now that don't make any sense. You mean to tell me you knock something down and you don't know how to go in 100-mile radius to look for that shit? Would it just dissipated in the sky? No, it didn't. It dropped somewhere. You know what the fuck you getting. You just not telling us now.
Well, what you want to do is we have to understand that where you shoot it down is also strategic, because you want to be able to control where it lands so no one else can get to it before you do. But let's address what Jank is saying, that he watched the Jetsons and it wasn't no Mexicans in that motherfucker fool. Yeah, because there's no place for you in the future. You're not. Have you ever seen oh, well, yes. Recently, we just saw a Mexican Terminator in the very last movie. But there's really no place for you in the future. You don't exist. They are expecting us to
do we exist?
Cleanse ourselves.
Do we exist? Do we exist on it?
Huh? Do we exist?
Do we exist? I ain't seen no.
I've never seen
no brothers
person on the Jetsons. Nor have I seen one on the Flintstones. But the Flintstones did end up with the Great Gazoo. You know, if you consider the Great Gazoo, the little green man on the Flintstone.
Oh yeah.
If you consider time and where we were, no, we were represented as an intergalactic pimp on Star Wars, and it was an afterthought because they realized they didn't put us in the first movie. So let's just go ahead and leave it at that our representation was as a pimpy space pirate. So I would have rather not and said that we did. If we take into consideration how we've evolved socially, it makes sense why we are where we are as a society. It makes perfect sense. If we remember, if you go back and watch any episode of the Honeymooners didn't have one episode that went into their bedroom. It always everything took place in the kitchen. I Love Lucy was really the first to show the bedroom between, a married couple, and those beds were separate. They slept in separate beds. So when you had My Three Sons, Father Knows Best, they try to exclude what really goes on in a household. And unfortunately, that trait is consistent and continues in America today, where if it's something that we don't want spoken about, we just cover it up and try to erase it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only 50 years ago that they were showing us on television men and women sleeping in different beds. And yet now you have men and women sleeping in the same bed, and sometimes multiple sets of both in the same bed. But
look, if you think about, if you go back to those times, just think about how much technology and all that we gained from us looking at that and how it was back then. You know, the rotary phones, basically black and white. Most of some of them shows was black and white on black and white TV with a turn dial. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even, wasn't even in. The first cable wasn't even invented then. You see what I'm saying?
TV.
Look how our jump of technology now.
I remember. And for anybody that says that
look how
Omar going off on a tangent that doesn't have anything to do with UFOs, actually it does. What I'm saying is, if you consider the fact that on television, men and women didn't even sleep in the same bed, then yes, it would make sense to come to the conclusion that introducing something to that particular population at that time, a visitor from someplace else, that would have definitely upset society to the point where I dare say it would have actually rocked society. And America at that time wasn't strong because America had just came out of a war. So, you really don't want to introduce people who watch a television show where the wife gets pregnant, but they don't sleep in the same bed. You can't introduce that public to a gray alien, especially when you are reeling from World War II and you're getting ready to go into Korea, and then you turn around and you go into Vietnam. But what we can say is that through the process of television and mind control, that population control through television began a long time ago. What I mean by that is, when you watch TV for years or watch movies for years, and it's a buddy, or you got two men in it, the guy who wasn't funny was considered the straight man, and the comedian was considered the funny guy. He plays it straight, he plays it funny. And nowadays, that does not apply to movies, but rather to sexuality. He's straight, he's funny. And so the indoctrination of these things to impress upon a brain that is not fully developed, that is trying to learn and is prepubescent, yes, you can embed a subliminal message into someone where you later on can determine how they think. And if you can determine how they think, then you can control how they think. And if you can control how a thinks, you can then control that person's actions. And if you can control that person's actions, you can control what that person consumes, such as what we spoke about before. The Black Panthers scared America so much that they decided to give you 2 television shows in order to get young Black men to trust white men. And that was Different Strokes and Webster. Because we had, as Black Panthers, and it's still young Nation of Islam had decided that white males as an authority meant to harm Black males, and the only one can get the message to Black males inside the Black household that you can be successful if you have a white father, or your only path to success as a Black man is through a white father, was through television, which was Different Strokes, and which was Webster. And so when you hear people say Black women are welfare queens, or black people, we look for handouts, a lot of that comes from people watching those TV shows and taking it seriously. And when you have that superiority complex, it becomes very difficult to grasp the idea that someone else can come from someplace else. And when you finally grasp that idea, you still have to believe so much in your superiority that you can whoop them, which surely you cannot whoop someone who was able to travel across the galaxy, especially people that you can't see. I mean, if you really think about it, these alien visitors have been playing the best
shot down by
fighter jets.
No, man.
I started something.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Look, I was getting to how many in certain days since the balloon was shot down, right? So I understand what you're saying as far as how the television done changed our thinking, right?
Right.
But they ain't going to talk about, because around that time was Roswell. Would you say before that time, before the time of television and them honeymooners and all that, they put the fakery on us with that UFO jib that it was a balloon, and this metallic shit right here was the balloon. That surely didn't look like nothing that the China balloon that came down, right? Will they show the metallic shit of this shit that fell down? Because what I have up here is basically the time stamp, right? What people fail to realize, they gave their explanations on all this during the Super Bowl. When nobody else, they gave their questions and answers to the people that shot it down and all that during the Super Bowl. While all of us were watching the Super Bowl, they was getting questions asked to them.
Well,
about
and
what the fuck you shoot down? Where is that?
If you think about it, bro, the more dangerous the weaponry that was created by our country, the more the innocence of the country was lost. In other words, when the honeymooner was out, we had the Enola Gay, and the Enola Gay really was not technologically advanced, but it was capable of dropping the atomic bomb. But as you advance in your weaponry, you advance in what you give the public, because you have to prepare a public for something that they've never seen before. And when you want them to visualize something, you put it on television first to prepare them for it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, look, so that's why I have this. That's why I have this set up. Right?
Yeah.
With what happened on Thursday, with Friday, unidentified object shot down over Alaska. Saturday, unidentified object over Mayor, Yukon, Alaska. FAA shuts down airspace at 7:50. Flight restrictions lifted at 8:40. And
no one is asking how much it costs to fuel up these jets every time and send them up to shoot down a spy balloon, don't we have surface-to-air missiles that are the best of the best, where we can launch a missile that doesn't require expending the same amount of fuel that an F-22 or F-35 or F-16
I think they going up there. I think they sending them up there to get video of what they about to shoot down and see if it's any threat before they use surface-to-surface air missiles, right? Because you just be shooting down something you don't really know what it is. They trying to get close to it.
Right. Right.
You know, I don't think all objects move. You know, they just sitting there. But I'm gonna let the news speak, and we just gonna go through what they saying about this.
Hold on. You just said something very important. You just said something very powerful. We can shoot down something, and we don't even know what it is. Man, that's something that can be carried through life, especially when you are a heterosexual male minority. We get shot down every day, and people don't even know the talent that we have. They just make an assumption based on who we are that they see. And it's very dangerous when you shoot down something and you don't know what it is, because you don't know what's inside it.
Or where it came from. You don't know where it came from. You don't know where his homies at. You just
absolutely.
You don't know where his homies at. You know what I'm saying? His daddy, mama, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Somebody
play this game?
Ain't nobody. Right, but listen, nobody on Earth have took responsibility of that being a object that was in the sky. So that means that it came from somewhere else, right? Somewhere else gonna want to find out where the fuck my shit go. You know what I'm saying? Where the fuck my shit go? I need to go down there. You shot 3 of them down within 3 days. You know what I'm saying?
How do we not know? How do we know that this isn't stage 2 of a test? What if stage 1 of a test was the tic tac, and stage 2 of the test was something that goes slow? I mean, if you're trying to find holes in your defense, the first thing you want to find a hole in is to see if your radar is still up to par. Because let's imagine if that spy balloon had a payload on it, that he just disappeared. That's worthy of Nuke's top 5.
All right, I'm right here.
He was there and then he wasn't.
I'm still here. I'm talking.
But the way the camera made it look like you just did a David Blaine or something. You just straight up disappeared.
Yeah, not just moved to the side. But you're
again,
correct. I heard everything you said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What if that thing had a payload on it? What if that first balloon had a payload on it to drop over Middle America, and our radars didn't pick up on it because it was moving entirely too slow? So now you know that your radar needs to be updated. You know, we were as Americans, ignorance is bliss, because we were operating under the understanding that if there were some rockets, missiles, or anything coming around the U.S., our defense system was advanced enough to shoot anything down. And here comes a lowly balloon, and we can't even catch that.
Just like Israel has their defenses, what's that called? They call it something.
What was that? Say it again.
You don't. The Israeli defenses. They have a defense against the Palestinians. They call it something. that can stop any missile coming over or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The Israelis, yeah, the Iron Curtain, the Iron Dome, the Iron Dome.
Yeah, they have something. Right. Anything
You
that
know,
comes over from Palestine, they can shoot it down. We don't have
and
nothing like
it's
that. You
weird.
telling me in Montana or none of them?
The things that these dictators use on their own people. It's amazing. We call people dictators because they commit atrocities against their own people, but we are not allowed to use that term here in the United States when speaking of the leaders of the United States. But it's funny that every dictator has been considered barbaric while using technology that came from the United States. Let's not forget that Saddam Hussein dropped Scud missiles. Remember those Scud missiles and cluster bombs were
right.
The payloads that was one payload, and then they open it up and they drop a bunch of other little explosive devices. And those things were considered inhumane, but they were built and proven and created here in the United States.
Yeah, see?
And where does that technology come
Let me
from?
show you.
Because again, going from the Enola Gay, it's very difficult to say you went from the Enola Gay to the SR-71 Blackbird with no help, none whatsoever. None whatsoever. Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna put this this video on.
Go for it.
I want you to hear some of the news things. I want you to hear some of the
Absolutely.
news things, headlines. But I had this up first, and this gives a timeline of what happened. You know what I'm saying? Them shooting shit down. But one of them,
Right.
they saying in Alaska, well, that ice was solid. But you have to hear the news reports and what people are saying. They don't know or they ain't telling us. I'm gonna let it go through.
Okay.
And just trip off of it. This is like I said. This is like each place that was shot down within the 3 days. But one of the news reports, the question and answer, when it gets to that, you'll notice that it was done during the Super Bowl. So they was asking questions they could answer and knew that more than 1 million people wasn't gonna be looking at their ass. You know what I'm saying? When they told this shit, we don't know what the fuck it is. So I think that's why they did it during the Super Bowl. Oh, come on.
Made it more immediate action yesterday. Officials say it was flying much lower at 40,000 feet, making it a dangerous potential threat to civilian aircraft. But now we are learning that U.S. military pilots who approached the craft have given conflicting accounts of what they saw. This new reporting coming in now from CNN national security reporter Natasha Bertrand. Natasha, so this is interesting. This is kind of unusual that these pilots saw different things, and that is sort of, I guess, adding to the mystery of all this.
Yeah, not even the pilots apparently were really able to identify what they saw. And just to take you back for a sec, on Thursday, the U.S. defense officials sent F-35 fighter jets up to try to figure out what this object was that was flying around near Alaska. Those pilots, we have learned, have given very conflicting accounts of what they actually...
Hear that shit right there? They giving conflicting.
I was just about to ask you to run it back one more time.
Yeah, just listen to what she say.
Bertrand, Natasha, so this is interesting. This is kind of unusual that these pilots saw different things, and that is sort of, I guess, adding to the mystery of all this.
Yeah, not even the pilots apparently were really able to identify what they saw. And just to take you back for a sec, on Thursday, the defense officials sent F-35 fighter jets up to try to figure out what this object was that was flying around near Alaska. Those pilots, we have learned, have given very conflicting accounts of what they experienced, with some pilots saying that the object interfered with the plane's sensors, other pilots saying that they didn't really experience that, other pilots saying that when they looked at the object, they could identify no identifiable propulsion system, and they did not know how it was actually staying.
Right there. That's the question they said. There's no propulsion system. They couldn't find one or see one. They didn't see no smoke coming behind it. They didn't see nothing, flames going below it that was holding this motherfucker up in the air. That was the first thing. No propulsion system. Robert Lee, this was over the weekend. This just happened over the weekend. Ball Straw say, what it do, oh? What up, Goo?
Yeah, what's happening, champion?
They say, what's up, man? I'm going to continue this little video.
In the air, cruising at that altitude of about 40,000 feet. So this is all added to the Pentagon's wariness of describing in more detail what this object actually is until they can get more information through the debris that they are recovering right now.
And what do we know about the efforts to recover the wreckage of this second object? It looks like NORAD just put out an email a short time ago, and it sounds like they're trying to recover it.
They did, and what we were told yesterday is that the object was shot down over frozen water, so it landed on the ice, essentially. We don't know what kind of condition it's in, whether it's intact.
You hear that? It landed on the ice. They didn't say it went in the water. They didn't say it landed on the ice. So that means you have the ability to get to it. But listen what the fuck she says.
For example, but recovery efforts have been launched, and according to the Defense Department, they have been able to recover a significant amount of debris. Now, notably, they still don't know what this object is, where it came from, or even what direction it was headed.
So they got the debris. They still don't know what the fuck it is. Now, how ironic is that? They done found they got it. They got a large amount of debris. They ain't been able to put it together to still figure out what. It damn sure ain't a balloon, because they would have surely said it's a balloon. They damn sure didn't say that. They don't know. They can bullshit us. Nigga, they just shooting whatever they see in the sky. So whatever people been videoing and seeing metallic shit, spherical shit, and weird shit, them niggas just shooting that shit down now. So now we're going to know what it is that you videotaping. However, they're not going to tell us because they don't fucking know right now. Crazy as fuck.
Headed in, or what direction it came from. It is just all very murky at this point, but they do say that the FBI is going to be taking the lead on analyzing the debris. If that sounds familiar, it's because just last week we saw that another Chinese spy balloon, I should say a Chinese spy balloon, because we don't know what this one actually is, was shot down, also being analyzed by the FBI. But right now, there are just so many more questions and answers, Jim.
Yeah, and as the hours go on, it gets more and more mysterious. All right, Natasha Bertrand, thank you very much. Let's bring in former CIA operative Bob Baer. Bob, this is starting to sound like something out of the X-Files. I don't want to get carried away here, but what do you make of these different assessments coming in from the pilots of what they saw?
Well, Jim, the speed of those airplanes, F-35s, it's no wonder they all saw different things. And as far as intercepting communications to that vehicle, very difficult. I don't want to get too technical, but it could be, frequency hopping, the propulsion. There's so many questions out there that you're absolutely right. Not until they actually go through the debris and see what it's made of and what it looks like in the nations. Obviously, there was some sort of propulsion system that was driving that vehicle. And don't forget, NORAD with Doppler radar is probably going back at where it came from.
Now, he want to knock what the pilot said. The pilot said they didn't see none. He's saying there definitely had to be one. No, it was some shit that we ain't hip on yet. Whatever technology they had to have that motherfucker there, didn't give off the shit that we usually see, that that's supposed to be up in the air like
propulsion
that. But
as
he's
we
gonna try
know
to
it.
change it like that.
Propulsion as we know it.
Right.
If they can track it back to, I don't know, China, Russia, wherever. But it's a great mystery. I'm absolutely fascinated by this.
Yeah, I mean, U.S. official tells us there was no obvious surveillance equipment on board. Some of this is the initial information, initial reporting that comes in, and I suppose things change as they have on the ground or on the ice there. What does that tell you if that ends up being the case?
Well, there's a couple things that I take away from this, and if it's a foreign-made object and it was sent from a place like China or Russia, it's some sort of provocation against us. I can't imagine a vehicle like this would give the Chinese or the Russians a real...
See, he's already making it still basically a United States object. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
If it's provocation, if it's China or if it's Russia. Man, Russia can't win a war. You think they had the technology to do shit like this? Just have some shit? Come on, man.
Intelligence advantage of collecting photographs or signals or things like that. But I think what bothers NORAD and the White House is these pros. We now know there was, a total of 5 balloons, Chinese balloons that have come over the United States. Why are the Chinese doing this? Who's ordering it? And why would you do it right? Lincoln, the Secretary of State, is on his way to Beijing. That makes no sense to me.
Well, I'm going to call the balloon. I don't really know what.
Okay, this is what I've had up. This is one of the audios of one of the pilots that they're saying shot down one of these objects in the sky. And it's just a recording of what he said.
I couldn't see anything up there below. I couldn't see outside my eyes. It definitely looks like something, there's some kind of object that's suspended in the air. It's hard to tell. It's pretty small. I cannot see it outside my eyes. 1-1 in the targeting pod. You can see something. I can't tell if it's what. And there's, I can see like lines coming down below, but I can't see anything below it. 1-1. Looking outside is kind of like a blackish, I'm going to call it like a container. I can't really tell though what the shape is. Going, it's so slow and so small and you can't see it because you're so close. I'd honestly be worried about hitting it before you know you're there. It's almost like a octagon shape, I'm going to call it a balloon. You can definitely see strings hanging down below, but I don't see anything below it.
He said it was an octagon shape. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Who makes those
this
things?
Was a different. What's that?
An octagon shape. Like who makes something
shaped
like an octagon?
Right.
I don't think anybody on planet Earth would.
That can fly and do all that. Right.
You know what? Let's break down to basics. All right. Let's just try to look at something with basics. Damn it, I don't have anything. So you rent a car. It's got the same gas that you got 2 cars, identical gas mileage or identical size gas tanks, right? One car though,
right,
is developed in a wind tunnel and it gives zero or as little resistance to the wind as it's driving forward. The next car just so happens to be a Jeep Wrangler, which is basically 2 bricks stuck together, 1 brick on the bottom and 1 brick on the top and 2 wheels at the very bottom. One of the reasons why Jeeps have very bad gas mileage is because they aren't developed in a wind tunnel. You know what I'm saying? No one cares about getting good gas mileage. It's The windshield isn't tilted back any. The truck as a whole is just a square. So as it's driving forward, it's trying to cut through wind the best that it can. It doesn't do a very good job, and so it has less gas mileage. But if you have something like a Corvette, if you have something like a Camaro, if you have something like a Mustang, if you have something like a Lamborghini, one of the reasons why they would have better gas mileage, even though they're supercars, is because they're developed in wind tunnels so that they don't have to fight the wind while propelling forward. So why would you go off on this little tangent, Omar? What do you mean by that? The reason why you're looking at an F-16 on the screen shaped like that is because that is the best way a fighter jet can cut through air. Octagon is not going to be developed in a wind tunnel. It can't cut through air based on the shape that it is. So there is no strategic advantage to develop in something shaped like an octagon. I could see a very flat triangle, because a triangle is going to have flat surface on the top, flat surface on the bottom, and it's going to, two of the sides are going to extend like delta wings. But an octagon,
and
I
that's
mean,
what he said.
it'd be very hard for that to maneuver. That's the problem with fighter jets. They design them to
if
go
they have
forward, and
technology, though.
But if you look at a fighter jet, all the fancy stuff is in the front as far as getting it to go fast to engage another jet. Because everything is in the front,
you say
that damn thing can't turn around on a button.
G-Man?
It got to make a very big U-turn to get around and go the other way.
I don't know, size of like a.
That was his little.
Senator after senator at this
Here's the
all senators
bullshit
briefing this morning wanted to know when the president is going to come forward and speak to the American people. I mean, the U.S. does not shoot objects out of the sky every day. Why hasn't the president come forward and spoken to the American people about this?
So I know your colleague asked my colleague this earlier today during his gaggle. And look, the president is taking this very seriously, and he's receiving briefings regularly from his national security advisors, and he's going to continue to do that. We are sharing as much information as we can, as possible, but we do want to make sure that the American people understand that there's no need to panic. The president took this action, as I mentioned
She
earlier,
can't even keep a straight face with the shit she's saying.
Lower elevation, and they were in civilian airspace.
She's trying not to laugh. Look at her face.
Protected that airspace. But again, we
she
want to also make sure that
script.
the Americans are not do not panic during this time.
Should we expect to hear from him at some point, or is part of the reason that we're not hearing from him because, as you said, people shouldn't be panicking? Is there a concern that the president?
I don't have any announcement or anything to preview on a potential remarks by the president. What we're trying to do here is provide as much information as we can. The president clearly has been briefed on a regular basis on this, on a daily basis, on what has occurred in the last 10 days or so. But I just don't have anything to preview as to if the president's going to be speaking on this in the upcoming days.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
This right here, after she spoke. So this right here, this is the answering question that they had to do with the media, that they had us talk with the media while the Super Bowl was going on. So they didn't want any more than the rest of the population that didn't look at the Super Bowl to watch this. And the reason why I say that is because at the bottom it's a ticker, and it's going to show the Super Bowl score. So they're having it during the Super Bowl because they tickering
You found a
the
way to
Super
tie
Bowl
in a
score at
Super
the
Bowl
bottom of it.
scandal, huh?
Yeah, no, trip off of it because you'll see it at the bottom while they're talking. But they're gonna answer some questions and they don't fucking know. We shot some shit down. We don't know what the fuck it is. It's
Never
just
in my
it was
life.
some shit. It looked like the balloon.
Never in my life have I watched a football game where the referees snatched the ball from the center in order to give the defense time to set up. That was going on.
Oh. Yeah, they had
What
a
is
little
going
fuckery in that
on
game.
here? That's why they
Particularly so short notice and on Super Bowl Sunday here in the U.S., no less. In light of tonight's takedown of an airborne object over Lake Huron, Michigan, we wanted to ensure you had the latest information and also answer any questions you have in order to provide any additional context on NORAD's efforts to monitor, track, and appropriately address these kinds of objects.
You see him say, "We apologize that we're doing this on Super Bowl Sunday." You knew what the fuck. Why you didn't do it on Monday in the afternoon where everybody could hear you? Listen to this motherfucker again. Hold on. Pass her ass. We already heard what she said. Watch. This nigga here.
Commander of North American Aerospace Defense Command and U.S. Northern Command. Today's discussion is...
Hold on. I got to back it up. Just so you can hear him say.
Sure you had the latest information and also answer any questions you have in order to provide any additional context on NORAD's efforts to monitor, track, and appropriately address these kinds of objects. Joining us tonight is Assistant Secretary of Defense for Homeland Defense and Hemispheric Affairs, Melissa Dalton, and General Glenn Van Herk, Commander of American Aerospace Defense Command and U.S. Northern Command. Today's discussion is on the record. I'll turn it over to Assistant Secretary Dalton, who will provide some brief comments, followed by General Van Herk, and then we'll take your questions. With that, over to you, Secretary Dalton.
Great. Thanks so much, Pat. And good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We do aim to be transparent about our military operations, and so we wanted to provide an update on the most recent Homeland Defense operation that occurred this afternoon. I'm going to provide a brief overview and then turn to General Van Herk to provide an operational perspective as well. In the People's Republic of China balloon that we took down last Saturday, we have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, including enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in objects that we've detected over the past week. We also know that our
Did you hear that shit, that bullshit right there? We
run it back one time.
Our radar system, so we're seeing more objects because we ran our watch.
I'm going to provide a brief overview and then turn to General Van Herk to provide an operational perspective as well. In light of the People's Republic of China balloon that we took down last Saturday, we have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, including enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in objects that we've detected over the past week. We also know that a range of entities, including countries, companies, research organizations, operate objects at these altitudes for purposes that are not nefarious, including legitimate research. That said, because we have not yet been able to definitively assess what these recent objects are, we have acted out of an abundance of caution to protect our security and interests. The spy balloon from the PRC was, of course, different in that we knew precisely what it was. These most recent objects do not pose a kinetic military threat, but they're passed in proximity to sensitive DoD sites.
So they didn't really cause a threat. We had to shoot their ass down immediately. We let the balloon go all the way across the United States. Last all the way to the East Coast. We knew what that was. For everything else, fuck that. We shooting that shit down with no questions asked if it's in our airspace. That's crazy as fuck. You know what I mean? You don't even know what the fuck that is, but you knew it was a China balloon, but you gonna let that motherfucker go all the way across it. Y'all with this bullshit. But all right.
And the altitude that they were flying could be a hazard to civilian aviation and thus raise concerns. Again, as we have said, we do not assess that the recent objects pose any direct threat to people on the ground, and we are laser focused on.
They didn't pose any threat to the people on the ground, but your ass got to get out of our air space. So we're going to shoot the fuck out you. And like Robert Lee say, the thing could have been friendly. You know, you done shot some up. You know, okay.
It's
That's
too
what I'm
late.
saying,
It's too late
brother.
to try to figure that
you
out
just
now.
shot the object. Yeah, y'all did that shit.
Confirming their nature and purpose, including through intensive efforts to collect debris in the remote locations where they have landed after being shot down. We are in close coordination and cooperation with the Government of Canada, as well as through NORAD with the Canadian military. Thanks very much. Look forward to your questions, and I'll hand it over to General Van Herk.
Thanks, Secretary Dalton. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today and provide you an update. Every day, North American Aerospace Defense Command and United States Northern Command monitor the approaches to North America and the United States of America across all domains. And yesterday evening, approximately 16:45 or 4:45 Eastern Time on 11 February, NORAD detected a radar contact in Canadian airspace approximately 70 or so miles north of the United States border. Tracking that radar contact, and when it became clear it was unknown, following normal NORAD procedures, it was not talking to the Aviation Administration, no squawk, and approaching our air defense identification zone. I scrambled F-15 fighters from Portland, Oregon, along with a KC-135 tanker support from Fairchild Air Force Base in Washington, to go investigate, to identify what the radar contact was. At 1800 Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern, the radar track crossed into United States sovereign airspace. At 7:04 Eastern time, the F-15s with their tanker support were on to investigate. We continued to investigate. What's important to point out,
that part, get them, Jay. You know, whatever the fuck it was, they gonna want that action for they dead homies. I said that. It's like having dead homies. You just sit something down there. There's 3 items that somebody gonna say, man, where the fuck our shit go? Where the fuck? We sent some shit down there to just survey some shit. Where our shit go? Because the United States or any other country, if you send something more, they gonna want to know where the fuck they shit went. Did they shoot our shit down?
Let's do some
These
critical
niggas is more
thinking.
intelligent than us.
Let's do
Right?
some critical thinking. Okay. How long does it take for something to fall to the ground?
Bring myself back in.
And this is for the whole
Say again?
Audience, a panel, or whatever we call ourselves. How long does it take for an object to fall to the ground?
It depends on how heavy it is, correct?
How long does it take for an object to fall to the ground? Matter of seconds? Matter of minutes?
Yeah, matter of seconds.
Less than an hour, you say?
Seconds, depending on how
Less
high
than 5 minutes, you say? So if you shot it down and it hit the ground, why are you still calling it an unknown object?
True.
By the time it hit the ground, you're supposed to know what it is. Wait a minute. Am I right or am I wrong?
It's almost big. You absolutely correct.
If you can't say by the time it hit the ground definitively when you pull up on it, it's a balloon, then what was it? See, this is how this is how we gotta start reading between the lines. We shot down an object. Well, what object was it? It's unknown. So you don't know what the object is that you shot down? No. Well, you had to drive to it quickly. We know that you have the capabilities of knowing where it's gonna land, because you sure as shit got to the Chinese balloon real quick. So you shot this down.
Right.
In a matter of seconds. And you don't know what it is. You still calling it unknown? Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Because you either know what it is and you don't want to tell the public, or it's what everybody been waiting to hear.
G-Man say, my guess is they found something or close to finding something in Alaska. Octagon shape is a probe. They just telling us whatever. See, that's the problem I had. It's been shot down. Listen. Listen, hey, listen.
If it's landing in a matter of seconds.
Like you said.
Hmm? If it's landing in a matter of seconds, and you know where it's gonna land and you pulled up on it, and you still don't know what it is, then it can't be of this earth.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So let's continue with.
Because of the internet, we know what everything is.
Within a half 45 minutes of dark. We continue to investigate.
Right. So
we know what a balloon is. We know what a piece of wood is.
To identify, locate the object, we were unsuccessful. It's also important to point out in this part of the United States, we did not have data link for queuing like we had before. Data link was the radars on the ground to share information to the fighters airborne, allowing them to cue their sensors and their visual acuity in an attempt to visually identify the trap.
Did you hear that bullshit right there? Huh?
Play it again one more time. There was an echo.
Something wrong with you. Did you hear that bullshit?
There was an echo. Can you play it again?
He said, like, oh, okay.
Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern, the radar track crossed into the United States sovereign airspace. At 7:00 Eastern time, the F-15s with their tanker support were on station to investigate. We continued to investigate, and what's important to point out, this is near dark, within a half hour, 45 minutes of dark. We continued to investigate, to identify, locate the object. We were unsuccessful. It's also important to point out in this part of the United States, we did not have data link for queuing like we had before. Data link allows the radars on the ground to share information to the fighters airborne, allowing them to cue their sensors and their visual acuity in an attempt to visually identify the trap. At sunset, we were unable to find the track. Also, our radar operators lost the track on radar, and the FAA was never tracking the radar. Therefore, that's why we called it an anomaly, because we weren't able to identify it. Several hours later, overnight.
So you kind of hear what they're saying though, right there. He's basically saying that their radar, when they shot it down, they couldn't figure out where the fuck it went. Basically, that's what they saying. They saying it should have crashed, but the motherfucker might not have even crashed. Because they're saying they can't even find what the fuck they shot down.
And how can they not find it? We just saw what they did with the balloon.
Right. But in this point,
that's my whole
dude
point.
Is basically, I got to run that again, homie. You got to hear what if you listening to what the fuck he's saying.
Play it again,
He's telling the
Peanut.
motherfucker that.
Play it again.
Our radars was on. You know what I'm saying? Neighborhood real. What's good with you? No, don't trip. We just getting into it. You know what I'm saying? We just getting into it. I'm gonna put the link out there for you or Boss Claus or anybody else want to come in. But I'm gonna play this again so y'all can just basically listen. These motherfuckers.
And before we start, let me just say, I know it might be looking like my eyes are closed or something because I see myself in the screen. I'm having some real bad allergy issues right now.
Oh no,
I'm not dozing off or speak.
Oh, you good?
It's just my whole face is itchy right now from it being windy outside. So just so y'all know, I don't want nobody thinking I'm bored. I'm in it.
So
and I'm watching it.
I just want people to see this. I'm gonna put this back. These motherfuckers don't know where this shit is at. They saying it hit Alaska and people is saying that shit, but he's basically saying, nigga, our radar went down or something. We don't know where the fuck this motherfucker's at.
It became clear it was unknown. Following normal NORAD procedures, it was not talking to the Federal Aviation Administration, no squawk, and approaching our air defense identification zone. I scrambled F-15 fighters from Portland, Oregon, along with a KC-135 tanker support from Fairchild Air Force Base in Washington, to go investigate, to identify what the radar contact was. At 1800 Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern, the radar track crossed into the United States sovereign airspace. At 7:04 Eastern.
So there, they have radar on it because they saying it crossed over and all that. Right there, they saying they got radar on this.
Time, the F-15s with their tanker support were on station to investigate. We continued to investigate. What's important to point out, this is near dark, within a half hour, 45 minutes of dark. We continued to investigate, to identify, locate the object. We were unsuccessful. It's also important to point out in this part of the United States, we did not have data link for queuing like we had before. Data link allows the radars on the ground to share information to the fighters airborne, allowing them to cue their sensors and their visual acuity in an attempt to visually identify the trap. At sunset, we were unable to find the track. Also, our radar operators lost.
Hold on. You just let that shit slide on by. Our radars we couldn't track. We want to hear that shit again.
Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern, the radar track crossed into the United States sovereign airspace.
Okay, we got it.
At 7:04 Eastern time, the F-15s with their tanker support were on station to investigate.
At 7:04.
We continued to investigate. What's important to point out, this is near dark. Okay. Within a half hour, 45 minutes of dark. We continued to investigate, to identify, locate the object. We were unsuccessful. It's also important to point out in this part of the United States, We did not have data link for queuing like we had before. Data link allows the radar ground to share information to the fighters airborne, allowing them to cue their sensors and their visual acuity in an attempt to visually identify the track. At sunset, we were unable to find the track. Also, our radar operators lost track on radar, and the FAA was never tracking the radar. Therefore, that's why we called it an anomaly, because we weren't able to identify it. Several hours later, overnight, we began seeing an intermittent radar contact east of the position in Montana as it approached Wisconsin. At that point,
so that motherfucker left radar and came back into radar later on. Y'all lost it. It came back to y'all. Because y'all had it, lost it, couldn't find it. Later on, you got it again. So you decide, shoot this motherfucker down.
we developed a game plan once we started seeing another radar contact to go investigate. It's likely, but we have not confirmed that the track that we saw in Wisconsin was likely the same track in Montana. We elected to scramble with the best position to intercept if we needed to engage with the lowest collateral damage, and that was in the eastern portion of Wisconsin, just prior to Lake Michigan, when the fighters became on the track of interest at that time. We monitored the track of interest as it passed over Lake Michigan. We assessed that it was no threat, physical threat, military threat, legal infrastructure. That's my assessment. It continues to be today. However, at this point, we still have an unknown, and it forces a broader discussion about what is this object that's in our U.S. Sovereign airspace. It's within our Federal Aviation Administration airspace, not providing any communications, not providing any notice that could potentially help us deconflict.
So they're trying to say they communicated whatever this device was. He said he didn't think it was any threat to it, but they wasn't communicating, couldn't communicate the way that we communicate. It probably was communicating with us and was probably saying, fuck, they ain't listening. I'm just passing through. I'm just, chilling. Nah, they was trying to connect with the way they connect with other aviation, with other airplanes, whatever communication humanly, whatever the case, because he says it multiple times.
And therefore, we did. It tracked across the upper peninsula of Michigan. We were cleared to engage the eastern upper peninsula of Michigan overland and ultimately down the object at this point, 15 nautical miles east of the upper peninsula in Lake Huron. What we saw is an object that began drifting, but most likely landed in Canadian waters in Lake Huron. And we have ongoing recovery operations with Coast Guard assets moving towards, like to highlight this entire time. I remained in contact with my Canadian boss, General Wayne Air. The Canadians were very supportive. The Canadian F-18s plus their tanker as well to support this operation.
It could be all spying shit.
From Madison, Wisconsin, Air National Guard unit. There's a tanker from Pittsburgh, Air National Guard. And we had an
ain't nobody owning up to it. If it was any other country that they shit was getting shot down multiple times because they shot 3 down. So if it was from another country, that country ain't gonna say shit. Y'all shot my drone down, or you shot some. It's some shit that's more intelligent than us if they can't figure it. Like I say, the way they speaking If they ain't found the debris, they ain't showed nothing on 3 of them. One you can see. I guess they have a video of it. Or yeah, Omar ducked out. Must have had a, you know what I'm saying, was having an allergic reaction or something. You know what I'm saying? Omar had to go, feel better for sure. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at this, they don't know. They just guessing. This is their question and answer. While the Super Bowl going on, I still didn't put that in.
From Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma. That's all I have for my operational update. I look forward to your questions.
Secretary Dalton, General Van Herk, thank you both. For our first question, we'll go to Associated Press, Tara Kopp.
Hi, thank you very much, both of you, for doing this at this late hour. For Secretary Dalton and for General Van Herk, we've had 4 shoot downs in the last 8 days. Can you talk about the sense of concern you have, and should Americans be worried? This is a very rare thing to have this many shoot downs or any shoot downs over U.S. airspace. And then secondly,
I get what you say. For what though? After the balloon, it's in a good time. I feel like tripping. Yeah. Hey, tripping. What's up with you, pump?
Shit, chilling.
Yeah.
Checking it out.
That's right.
Crazy.
Yeah. I was.
Folks shot down in 8 days, and they ain't telling nobody.
Nothing. Hey.
Interesting.
Hey. That's why I was putting in. Is it me got an echo?
That's probably.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I echoing? I just cut my mic down. I'm on my headset.
No, I thought we was getting it. Oh, okay. I thought we had a little delay. Yeah, I had this little news thing that's going on right here. You can just listen to the question. Did you see this first part before she came on, and how dude was saying they couldn't find it because after they shot it down and did whatever, they couldn't find it no more, which was
so they must have shoot it
kind
down.
of strange.
You think they just damaged it? It probably went down for a second and just shut it off. Had a little damage to it.
Hey, dude kind of say that. And so this is like the question and answer. And you can hear like the people that's supposed to be the experts in what's going on as well as the pilots, because the pilots all got different, you know what I'm saying, statements on what happened and how it looked, which is crazy. But you listen.
General Van Herk, can you give us any indication of what your pilots are seeing and reporting? Thanks.
Hey, before we jump into the question, just a reminder, everyone, please mute your phones. Thank you. Sounds like we have an open mic out there. My apologies. Over to you, ma'am.
Great. Tara, thanks so much for the question and for dialing in also at a late hour. The safety and security of the American people are job number one for us at the Department of Defense and certainly for NORAD and General Van Herk's team. We, following the attack of the PRC balloon last week, as I mentioned at the top, we have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in the objects detected.
You see, that's like, she's the second person that said that they just upgraded their radar. Y'all radars wasn't upgraded before this shit was going on. I think they with the bullshit lies. You know what I'm saying? That's what the lies.
I think that sounds like a cover up. I feel like it's a cover up. They're gonna blame and say, "Oh well, our radars weren't up to date, so that's why we missed this opportunity or whatever to see." You know, what I'm saying what was out there. That's a cover up.
Yeah.
But we also know that there are a range of entities out there, whether they're private companies, research organizations, that operate objects at these altitudes for purposes that are not nefarious, including legitimate research. But because we have not been able to definitively assess what these recent objects are, the president wanted to act out of an abundance of caution to protect our security and our interests. So we will remain vigilant. We have made these enhancements to our radars, and the operations this past week have been successful in bringing down these potential threats. And we are hard at work now recovering the debris to better understand certainly the capabilities of the surveillance balloon from the PRC, but also the nature of these unidentified objects.
See that. She just said about 4 different things just in that's those statements that she just made right there was like to twist you up 4 different ways. Because what she was saying was basically we got the debris. We don't know what the debris is, but dude said in one instance, unless they got one in the other part of Alaska, one of them they didn't get the debris. If they do got debris, they had a week to show us. They was quick to show us that balloon. Oh, that shit didn't take but a day. We didn't have the Super Bowl. I still ain't showed y'all the Super Bowl scrolling at the bottom. Why they doing this?
Better understand, were they surveillance objects? What was their purpose? What are their capabilities? And we look forward to sharing more as we learn more in the coming days.
Thanks, Melissa. Let me just add on. So your question was about citizens being considered. I've assessed all of these to be non-kinetic threats to the homeland, and I don't see that changing even when we recover debris. Every day, NORAD, United States Northern Command, are ready to defend as required. So I think this is a story where we were successful in detecting and if needed to respond. What I would tell you is what we're seeing is very, very small objects that produce a very, very low radar cross section. I'm not going to go into detail about shapes or anything like that, really, because it's really, really difficult for pilots at the altitudes we're operating.
And the reason he's saying that is because one of the pilots said it was octagon shaped. That's why he's saying that. I don't want to go into what the pilots, because pilots see what they see at the speed that they see. They probably he know what he saw. Robert Lee says, I'm gonna have to let it roll. All nations know what each other do. We're gonna change policy now. Questions not out. Nah. This don't have nothing to do with other countries and their policy. Other countries going to have to come with one. It's going to have to turn out to be in one when you're messing with something that's not from this planet. If you think these are some kind of drones that another Russia or China or North Korea is making that we shooting down, they sure ain't speaking up on it. And they would, because they would have had to put money into this. They would have had to put billions of dollars into these type of objects, or whatever you want to call them, unidentified objects. They'd have to put billions in it.
very, very slow object in the space, if you will, going at the speed of the wind, essentially. And our pilots are going several hundred miles per hour to give us what I would consider a factual, scientific-based description of what we see. And therefore, I'm hesitant to tell you that. With that being said, I would like to talk about the radar and the challenges that we face. Something going this slow. So as Assistant Secretary Dalton talked about, radars essentially filter out information based on speed. So you can set various gates, we call them velocity gates, that allow us to filter out low speed clutter. So if you had radars on all the time that we're looking at anything from 0 speed up to say 100, you would see a lot more information. We have adjusted some of those gates to give us better fidelity on seeing slower objects. You can also filter out by altitude. And so with some adjustments, we've been able to get a better categorization of radar tracks now. And that's why I think you're seeing these overall. Plus, there's a high.
So I just want to stop and say there. So their radar can go from 0 to 100. So what he's basically saying, they have to upgrade because whatever they see was outside of the radar. I already said that in the prior one. I don't need to go back on that. They already said they lost it in the radar. So it was going over the speed of what their radar system can control. What's good with your neighborhood? What you think about this?
Oh man, I'm just taking it all in. I mean, it's crazy. They doing a lot of covering up. Why would you listen? Why would you say your radars go from 0 to 100 when you have fighter jets that go way faster than that? You feel me?
Right.
They got fighter jets go 700 miles an hour, 800 miles an hour. A commercial plane goes at 600 some miles an hour, some 700. So you're talking about a fighter jet just cruising at 600 to 700 miles an hour. If they mash the gas, they do Mach 5, Mach 3, Mach 4, Mach 2. Man, that's over 1,000 miles an hour. So how do you have a radar that only pick up from 0 to 100? They lying. They just don't want to tell us what it is. Because think about it, bro, everybody got jets that go faster than that. What goes 100 miles an hour in the air? Like a hot air balloon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you track it.
A lot of shit, when they saying they lost it and all that, they lost the debris. You didn't lose the debris, you lost the object that you thought you shot down. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why you can't find the debris. How are you not finding the debris? Unless you're just not telling us what you found.
Or it sped off on y'all, man. It took off.
Yeah, it got hit and it got away, got back to the mothership.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but like I say, this is their question and answer. They was doing it during the Super Bowl, and some of the things that you can just hear from them, they don't know what the fuck they were shooting down. Basically, that's what they basically telling us.
Got me out here looking in the sky
for this information. I hope that adds.
Huh? Oh yeah, they finna come back. They homies got knocked down. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it that way, if you think about it, as humans would think if they had more intelligence than us, why they ain't gonna want their shit? That's some crazy shit. Why you don't think they would want their shit or want to see what happened to their shit? If it just wasn't on the natural shit. Even when they had the Roswell, we had more sightings after that, right? Because people wanted to come. I mean, whoever wanted to come and see, damn, what happened? Homies went out, you know what I'm saying, for an expedition, didn't come back. You name somebody, hey, in any human. That's in animals. Animals will do that. Shit,
Yeah,
but
that's a
you don't
fact.
think an intelligent move, you know what I'm saying, ain't gonna be coming to see the fuck y'all done did with my shit. My
I
shit
think
at.
they probably shot at it and they go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying nothing.
This road bad over here is too noisy. That's how I think you do your thing.
Oh, okay. No,
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
hadn't said nothing.
Oh no, I'm saying the road was so noisy. That's why I can
Oh, shit.
mute my mic.
Oh, okay. No, but go ahead. Say what you was saying.
I think what happened was like whatever they shot at it, and then whatever missile they shot at it, whatever that object was, it probably picked it up and shot off so fast. They talking about the debris is the debris from probably what rocket they shot at. That's what they trying to talk about, thinking they hit something, and the probably sucker just jetted off so fast they didn't even see it. They don't know where it went to. Because you got to think, you let off a missile, one of those fighter jets, it's going to take about, I'm going to say about maybe 20 seconds to maybe 10 seconds for it to just pick up max speed. Man, that thing so advanced, it probably picked that up so quick and just whoop, just jetted off on their ass. Just we out. We'll holler.
Right.
That's why they can't find nothing. But I think, bro, honestly, they just lying about the whole ordeal. I think it was some issues that went on up there. They don't want to talk about it. Them things probably went around them jets so quick, and they probably trying to chase it. They got chased, and they just don't want to tell us what's going on. Or they might have shot one down and they keep it a secret. They might have caught somebody inside of it. Who knows? But we know this. The government always keep a cap on something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, but the way they question and answering, that's what I put up. Because you can hear they really don't know. You know what I mean? Nobody knows, but you can't say it ain't something that's out there then. Now you definitely can't say it. If you're trying to hide it, yeah, you letting the cat out the bag now. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't proving that it's balloons. So nigga, what was it? Where it come from? Who country did it?
Just one quick follow-up. 4 shoot downs in 8 days. When was the last time that U.S. fighters were scrambled and shot something down over U.S. airspace? I can't remember anything. And it just seems like there's a large and quick escalation to shooting down objects.
I'll have to get with our historians. I believe this is the first time within United States of America airspace that NORAD or United States Northern Command has taken kinetic action against an airborne object.
Thank you, Tar. Thank you, sir, ma'am. Let's go to Jen Griffin, Fox News.
See that shit? The first time. But they just escalated that shit after that Chinese balloon. Nigga, they hit Friday, Saturday, and Super Bowl Sunday.
They been active, ain't they?
Yeah. And whatever happened Saturday, the radar anomaly detected no object found. So who's to say that object wasn't one of these other objects? Yeah.
We gonna find
so
out.
much speed, but like I said, yeah, they gonna have to expose something. You know what I'm saying? To try to hide
I'm saying we're gonna find
you
out.
Didn't shoot nothing down. Oh yeah, most definitely.
They're gonna slide back. They're gonna slide back
sooner or later.
Probably sooner than later. They got to slide back.
Yeah, they're gonna have to they're gonna have to show something. You know what I'm saying? Something they found. Will it come out to that 1947 shit? They show some metallic balloon. They ain't gonna be able to go back that far.
Hey, thanks, Pat. This is Liz. I'll be asking for Jen today. Are these balloons that have been shot down since Friday, or are they weather balloons?
Thanks very much for the question. Yep, go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, so I'm not going to categorize them as balloons. We're calling them objects for a reason. Certainly the event off the South Carolina coast for the Chinese spy balloon, that was clearly a balloon. These are objects. I am not able to categorize how they stay aloft. It could be a gaseous type of balloon inside a structure, or it could be some type of a propulsion system. But clearly, they're.
Did you hear what this fool said?
Mm-hmm.
It could be a balloon inside a structure. Because one of the pilots said it was octagon shaped. Why would the fuck you say it's a structure? Why wouldn't you say it's an orb or spherical or cylinder? You know what I'm saying? So this motherfucker, a balloon inside a structure, he just making up shit. They just be making up shit on the news. For real.
They're able to stay aloft. I would be hesitant to and urge you not to attribute it to any specific country. We don't know. That's why it's so critical to get our hands on these so that we can further assess and analyze what they are.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to you at Wall Street Journal.
Thank you. To both of you, you're saying that their preliminary assessment is that they don't pose a kinetic threat, but that they are objects and not blue.
Oh shit! It went in and out. What the hell?
And that you need to sort of adjust your radar and get an understanding what is the expectation going forward, or at least in the next few days. Is it your plan to continue to shoot these down, or to make adjustments such that you can make assessments better, that they don't always have to happen when you're shooting something down? I'm trying to get a sense of the adjustment, General Van Herk, that you referred to, and what that will look, practically speaking, in the days ahead. Thank you.
Nancy, thanks for the question. So the expectation going forward is we'll continue to doing our mission exactly been doing now, approaching 65.
So basically, they finna shoot everything that they see in the sky. They finna shoot that shit down. Or try. Because I'm not sure, as you said, neighborhood, I don't think they shot everything down.
No, I don't think so. I think he got away too fast. Man, that man said, I'm just tripping. He said from 0 to 100. Are you kidding me? That's a car speed. You got all this sophisticated radars, and you telling me it's sonars and all this ultras. You guys can't telling me you can own something going from 0 to 100. So how do you keep up with your jets? You see what I'm saying? It's like they playing games, bro. They playing games.
See, whatever they was trying to do, they was trying to communicate with the object. You know what I'm saying? Fly up, talk to it, and all that. Then they just
My thing is,
shoot it down. We don't know.
yeah, but that's my thing. What was the reason for firing on it anyway? What they I haven't heard that yet. What was the reason you give the order to take it down? What did it do? What threat was it causing?
They basically, I think that basically that's what they was trying to say when they said they was trying to communicate with it. They was trying to ask it, why is it in our airspace or whatever, and whatever it was, whatever they was trying to do electronically, mathematically, radar-ish, over communications, over yelling over the speaker. They was trying to communicate with the motherfucker what they're trying to say, and it didn't react to them. I believe that's what they was trying to say, but just because it didn't answer you, I guess they felt that was a threat. So they're gonna have to do that all the time because they're in the air everywhere. So we're gonna see how many more they gonna continue to shoot down, since he gonna say that's what we gonna do.
Years for NORAD. If there's either Canadian or U.S. airspace, we will go out. We will attempt to identify it. If it's a threat, kinetic threat, military threat, I am delegated the authority if it commits a hostile act or hostile intent. Well, let me describe a hostile act. Hostile act would be shooting a missile, dropping a bomb, taking aggressive action. A hostile intent would be maneuvering to an offensive position against our forces or something like that. In that situation, I'm cleared directly to engage without further permission. In this case, there is no hostile act or hostile intent, but it is an unknown object, and therefore we have to have a further.
See, you hear what he said? In this instant, there wasn't a threat. We just felt it was hostile. We just felt it was hostile. You know what I'm saying? It was in our airspace. So he's basically saying we just shot it out because it was there. He said this is normal. The big thing that the balloon was a real spy. Oh, I didn't see Omar back there. My bad, Omar, I didn't see you.
So good.
I don't believe that was no spy camera.
Yeah.
Man, that don't even make sense.
I used to be on the back of the bus.
How you doing, Omar?
What'd you say?
What's going on, brother? In 1 second.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, what was you saying? Neighborhood is what? They had a spy?
I was saying that balloon, they said that's a spy, was a spy thing. I don't even believe that, bro. Like, why would you use a balloon to spy? With all the technology they had, why would you use that? Something that that you can see. Yeah, just catch it. I want y'all to catch us. Like, come on, bro. How we know it's a spy camera? That's what y'all told us.
I never understood.
I said it's a weather balloon.
Right. Look, what tripped me out is how far it went. It came all the way from China and had to drive to go up over Alaska and come all the way across the top of the United States instead of just going straight over the ocean. And you didn't catch that shit.
Yeah, with than fast ass radar. 0 to 100.
0 to 100. Yeah, this nigga is crazy.
Government, both the government of Canada in some cases and the government of the United States, to assess, is it a risk to national security by passing over key covered facilities such as our missile fields and other structure? Is it a risk to flight safety? Is it a risk to personnel on the ground? And then if you're going to take action, you have to make an assessment of what is the risk of collateral damage to potentially boats and mariners out over the water, our infrastructure, and people on the ground. That's essentially the process you go to and have to go through. We've done that on each one of these. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to David Martin, CBS.
You say that this is the first time we've ever had shoot downs, at least as to the best of your memory. But has any of this happened before the Chinese balloon was discovered? Have there been these unidentified objects which have been tracked for a while and then left U.S. airspace, but have entered and for one reason or another were not, what should I say, prosecuted like you've been doing these the ones since the Chinese balloon?
Yeah, David, so great question. Thanks for that. So
he said great question, but dude just threw a dig straight at him. You know what I'm saying? Like, have any other ones before the prosecution else that's been in our did I go out, y'all?
I'm here.
My video went out.
It's still on the screen.
Yeah, it went out on my side. That's why I was just asking.
Oh, okay.
But dude said, yeah, dude.
we have scrambled in the past against radar tracks that we've been unable to correlate with fighters. That has happened over years. And sometimes it's attributed to potentially being birds. Sometimes it's been attributed to weather. Sometimes we don't know what to attribute it to. What I would say is,
see, so when dude took the dig, he's trying to straighten it up like it's birds or whatever before this balloon attack. I mean, with the Chinese, because these orbs been around for shit. I've been saying this for a few years. So I know they've been around longer than that. Shit, when ancient people were seeing the same shit. So they just starting to, as dudes say, prosecute them now after seeing the Chinese balloon to make a statement. Because they think that is another country's shit. And it ain't.
as you go back and look over time, we've been able to figure out the best way to track various sources, including the high altitude balloons that we've talked about recently back to 2019 and prior, and couple that with our adjustments of our radar. It gives us a better ability to detect and have better domain awareness, as you've heard me talk about. I don't know if Secretary Dalton wants to add anything to that.
Thank you very much, General Van Herk. I would just add to that as we learn more about these objects, and certainly the PRC balloon, we're going to enhance our understanding of the characteristics of them that will perhaps enable us to look back at prior instances that were potentially overlooked or weren't looked closely enough at, to see if there's a comparison to be there, and certainly will help us going forward to better identify and track these.
She said now they're going to go back and look at any other ones that may have been in the sky. So you're going to have to start asking pilots. Y'all shouldn't have got rid of Blue Book when the pilots was telling y'all they was seeing shit in the sky. So how far y'all gonna go back when they saying we're gonna go back and look at it? You feel me, Omar?
Absolutely. Right along with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
I don't see
bro.
how far they think I say how far they gonna have to go back and look, because she's saying we're gonna have to look back in anything that we seen. Because dude is asking, basically, before this Chinese balloon, they wasn't shooting down that in the sky. Now, in 4 days, you just shot 3 things down, supposedly. You know what I mean? If you can't find debris,
right?
You ain't shot shit down, or you just ain't showing the debris.
Types of objects and balloons.
Have you reached the object that went down off?
Huh? What'd you say?
Me, I said they not showing the debris, bro. That's all it is to it. They not showing the debris.
Nah, they ain't showing shit.
They ain't gonna give it to us. They ain't gonna give us what we want, especially since they gotta break it all down and vet it and see what's wrong, see what parts they can identify, and they know what's beat up, and see what they can get out of it to reproduce, to make their technology better. Period.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna let the public know or anybody else know if I got some exotic material that can change the world and push us forward 150 years. I'm gonna figure out the military applications first before I give the shit to Joe Blow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's period.
See, and that's what I believe. If they did get, I don't believe that they got all of them down. I'll just say that. You know what I'm saying? Because of what you said in the first.
I think for every
when they
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying that dude said that they couldn't find it in the radar. One of them.
I think that for every crash or UFO they spot or they see, there's probably 100 of them that they don't. You know what I'm saying? Period. It's got to be 100 of them that they don't. You know?
Right.
This is not
groundbreaking to Robert Lee. You see what he said?
Huh?
He said this is, it's a good conversation that already exists in the backdrop of this. This is not groundbreaking. They surely not talking about the real parts of it. The groundbreaking part, what I've said over and over again, is that they not showing us. This is just their information of how they're spinning it. And like I said, they spent it during the Super Bowl when nobody was watching. But they're basically saying they don't have it. They don't have the answers.
Hey, Ghoul.
What it was. They don't have. Yeah.
If I want to share a little video from YouTube I gotta open up another tab, right? Another internet tab, go to YouTube, search the video, find it, and then what's the next step after that? Do I need to like click share and share it to something?
To what? Add it to the video?
Yeah, if I want to just throw
stream?
in a clip real quick for everybody to watch.
You have to have StreamYard, I believe. You can't just do it on your
I mean,
phone.
we own StreamYard. Matter of fact,
right, but
here's what I'm gonna do.
Can't.
Right, hold on. I'm gonna do this shit like this. I want you to see something real quick. And then maybe you could type it in and pull it up. Because I really believe that this situation, even though a lot of people already know what it is, I think it's kind of like a game changer. And maybe some people's eyes that don't know what it is. Hold on, give me 1 second. Shit. Excuse my language.
What's it on? Just give me, I can pull it up.
Yeah, here. I'm trying to figure out the best way to like kind of explain it to you. Okay, let me see. This one right here might be the better bet. Let me see here.
Mute your mic and come back. I'm gonna finish playing this video.
Object right now. I've got a Navy P-8, which is surveilling the area with helicopters as well. Once we locate that object, we'll put an Arctic security package in there and begin the analysis and recovery, but we don't have it right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Courtney Cubey, NBC.
Hi, thanks. How are you so confident that the initial balloon was Chinese? Were there some markings on it? I'm trying to figure out why, because from very early on, it seemed that there was a real confidence versus these last three that we can't get any sense of who owns them or what they were doing.
Thanks, Courtney. We know from
crazy thing that's supposed to take place now.
Hey, we have a hot mic out there. Go ahead, Secretary.
Thanks, Courtney. Yeah, thank you. So, Courtney, for the PRC balloon, we had a basis in intelligence to know definitively that point of origin was the People's Republic of China.
So, what I'm struggling with now is these last three that we still are calling object. I don't know what they are. You knew that the Chinese one was surveilling, and potentially you knew who it belonged to, and yet there was no effort. There was a decision not to take it down until it was over the ocean. I understand that there was concerns about everything on the ground there, but can someone explain why the decision is made to take these three unknown objects? We don't know who they belong to. We don't know what they're doing. But I still don't quite understand why the decision was made to. It literally in 6 minutes, it seems like they're being taken down faster and faster and faster. I mean, is there some other concern or threat that you're tracking that is giving a heightened sense of need to take these down?
Courtney, the process process that General Van Herk described earlier in terms of the criteria that we work through to determine whether, these objects, or in the case of the PRC balloon, the balloon was a threat. We look to see if it's going to pose a kinetic military threat. In both cases, that was not the case. We look to see, is it surveilling potentially DoD sensitive sites. We knew that was the case in both instances, and it was even more concerning in the case of the PRC balloon because we knew that it was a PRC balloon. We also consider, is it a threat to civilian aviation? In the case of the PRC balloon, it was flying at an altitude that it did not pose a threat to civilian aviation. And so that was part of the criteria for bringing it down over the water when we could safely do so, in addition to its enormous size. It was 200 feet tall. Payload was the size of 3 school buses. And, for these unidentified objects being much smaller, fortunately flying at an altitude that did pose a risk potentially to safe civilian aviation, that was part of the criteria that went into deciding to take the objects down over the last 3 days sooner in the tracking cycle. So, that's the process that we have rigorously worked through over the last week. General Van Herk, anything you want to add?
Oh, my bad. I've been muted the whole time I was talking. Thought Omar was muted. Y'all sitting there listening to nothing. That's fucking crazy. I was sitting. Oh, shit. I did a whole fucking spiel on mute. Didn't even realize I was on mute. Unbelievable. But if you understood what I was saying while I was on mute, if you heard the lady asking the question, how fast it was doing them, you know what I'm saying? She came back with a whole story, and it all kept going back to the balloon, where the balloon was high enough out the altitude. We didn't need to shoot it down. These were 40,000 feet, but airline pilots been telling them this for years. You know what I'm saying? If they wouldn't have got rid of Blue Book, where they was giving up the information about these flying objects that they were seeing in the skies the whole time. Her question was, why are you shooting them down so fast now?
Right. Did you get to see what I sent you?
Yeah, I seen it.
Now, have you ever seen that building before?
I didn't want to go.
Huh?
How about? Yeah, I seen it. I seen it. I was almost at 2:30. I'll put
that
that
building
on another one on Tuesday.
Yeah, and I just got to remember to tell you why I find that interesting, because it's like, why would they make a building like that, the Navy, a naval building like that in San Diego, it's kind of a slap in the face to all minorities that are in the armed services. But we know the significance of the Nazis and how they felt about UFOs. So I just think that's an interesting connection here. It's all good, brother. It's all good.
It's you going in and out.
Oh man. We didn't have too many technical difficulties today, man. Can you hear me?
You back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now. You went down. I couldn't hear the rest of it. Yeah, I was just playing.
Yeah, no, I was saying, I know you want that, what I sent you, I know you probably want to save it for, next week or whatever, but it's crazy to me because why would the Navy build that building in San Diego, which I understand they made changes to it later on, but although that's kind of a slap in the face to minorities that served in the military back in the day, it's crazy because we know how Nazi Germany felt about UFOs. You know what I'm saying? We know how Adolf Hitler felt about that Bell project and trying to get it to work. And now our government is being said to be building their own UFOs. And then they take a piece of Nazi symbolism and make a whole military building out of it and put it right smack in everybody's face in San Diego. I don't think that's a coincidence, but we can get into that next time.
For sure. I was just saying because I just wanted to listen to this question and answer because they never give. If you listen to the full thing, they doing it during the Super Bowl. One thing, you know what I'm saying, and they not giving up any answers too. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was playing this.
No, Melissa, I think you're right on. I don't have anything to add.
Thank you. Let's go to Brent Dahlberg, Michigan Radio.
Hi, thanks. A missile seems like a particularly destructive weapon to be using if there's a desire to investigate and figure out what these are afterwards. Can you explain why? Explain the weapon's choice?
Absolutely. So if you don't mind, I'll take this one. So first of all, maintaining a radar track on an object this small is very hard. So taking a radar shot, such as an AIM-120, would be a lower probability of success. We are taking a gunshot yesterday in that event as well as today. And the pilots in each situation felt that was really unachievable because of the size, especially yesterday in the altitude, and also because of the challenge to acquire it visually because it's so small. It's also potentially a safety of flight issue because you have to get so close to the object before you see it that you potentially could fly into the debris or the actual object. Therefore, in each situation, the AIM-9X, heat-seeking missile or infrared missile that sees contrast, has been the weapons of choice against the objects which we've been seeing. In each case, we have taken extreme caution to ensure that we limit potential collateral damage. So today, we worked closely with the FAA to clear out the airspace. I gave directions specifically to the pilots to use their visual acuity to check for mariners on the ground, airplanes in the air, to clear with their radars as well. And when they were comfortable, that we could.
And that's what they need to get back to, what the pilots saw. Because there's conflicting statements on what they saw when he showed the order, shoot it down. But dude is saying, I mean, there's a video that's on Instagram or some of one of them getting shot down. I don't know how true that is or whatnot. Because if they're not releasing anything, they ain't surely not going to release the video of them shooting some shit down that they can't find no more. Because if they did shoot it down, they surely should be showing the evidence of what they shot down, unless it disintegrated.
To minimize collateral damage, they selected the best weapon today. That was the AIM-9X, and they took the shot.
Thank you. Let's go to Hal Cooper, New York Times.
Hi, thanks, Pat, and thanks for doing this. This is for General Van Herk. Because you still haven't been able to tell us what these things are that we are shooting out of the sky, that raises the question, have you ruled out aliens or extraterrestrials, and if so, why? Because that is what everyone is asking us right now.
And thanks for the question, Helene. I'll let the intel community, the counterintelligence community, figure that out. I haven't ruled out anything at this point. We continue to assess every threat potential.
He ain't ruled out anything. So that says it basically all there. You know what I'm saying? It's good for the night. Omar, what's good with you? It's almost been on here for 2 hours.
Let me tell you, man.
Almost 3 hours. Huh?
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, man, all that sounded well rehearsed. It even sounded like they gave the reporters the questions that they was allowed to ask. You know what I'm saying? All that sound like, yeah, we done hit the mother load, but we can't let nobody know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what it sounded like to me.
Right.
So I mean, I'm let's follow this story, let's follow it up, and let's keep it moving, because it sounds like it's gonna be interesting. I think some people think it's the end of the world, so they probably feeling like, why not? Let's go ahead and expose it all. You know?
Hey, the point of it is in a minute, you're not gonna be able to hide it from the other people that don't believe or whatever. You're gonna see what you're gonna see now. If they just shooting them out the sky like that, you're gonna see more. I just believe that. I just don't believe that you could just, if nobody's pinpointing it or nobody's saying something from Earth, as far as countries on Earth is saying, man, you shot my shit out the sky. Where do you think that came from?
Right. Hey, you either gonna be enlightened or you're gonna be lost.
One of the two. You know what I'm saying?
One of the two, bro.
Show. Appreciate you. Yeah. Appreciate you stopping through tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna end it on that note. Come back in a couple days. Ain't no telling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody looking at this, subscribe to the channel if you like this content. You know what I'm saying? And like the video. Appreciate y'all.
That's right. Brother, a pleasure was all mine. I'm ready to go again when you're ready to go again.
All right, bet.
All right, take care, guys.
Peace. All right, that has been the Goof Show. Interesting topic. We'll see what happens, you know, in within the next coming weeks, months, whatever. They're gonna continue to keep shooting something out the sky coming from. You don't think they want to get they get back? I want to find out where their homies at, where they peoples. No doubt. So eventually we're gonna see more and more. But you gotta look up. I always say to people, shout out to my South Side. I'm promoting the house. You know what I'm saying? It's been another one. Huff. Few years, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? But until then, to the next video or next live, live to the channel, man. I'm out of here.